Okay, so I want to talk about the different cutters that we have. They're interchangeable, like I talked about in class. I'm going to talk about when you use each of them. So this one right here is my favorite. It's the V shape, and it's really good for straight lines, for going around your design, and I think it's just good for basically everything until you need like a smaller one. Then you can use the really tiny one. Something not great about this one is it gets dull easily. I do have new cutters that you can use when anything feels really dull. It's honestly just cheaper with these gouges to buy more cutters instead of a sharpener. Ugh, it gets your hands so messy. So, the next ones we have is the big and medium U shape. And then this one you can use for any straight lines that you want to make really, really thin. So I don't actually end up using this one very often. To change your blade, you're going to unscrew the top and you're going to pull it out. Notice there's like a piece of metal at the top and there's like this circle right here and this half piece at the bottom. Your blade goes in between this top piece and this circle piece right here. So right there. If you put it in the wrong way, it will get stuck and that will be really annoying to try to take it out. Please do not unscrew this all the way because all these pieces inside here will fall out and probably get lost, and so please be careful when you're doing that. If you don't trust yourself, just have me change the blade for you. So I'm actually going to put this one back in because I like that V shape the best. Okay, so I recommend you guys starting with your background for carving it out, or just the biggest amount of white space you have. And for me, that's up here. So I'm just gonna kind of start practicing. Haven't done this in a while, so I'll just get a feel for what it's like on the linoleum. And once you do that, you can start carving a little bit closer to your design, rotating your block as you go. And we're going to take this very slow. You're gonna have your bench hook that you can rest your linoleum on. Mine didn't really fit in this space. And you don't have to carve that deep. The only time you have to carve a little bit deeper is when you're carving out the background. So I'm carving this slightly deeper than what I would carve like these lines here. So a lot of times mistakes are made when you start carving too fast. So just take your time with it, and if you ever have trouble, then wiggle your gouge back and forth as you're carving. And I think the biggest thing people do is carving a little too far into their next shape. So once you come up to your shape, stop early and then just twist it a little bit to pull off the piece. And then you can start carving a little bit closer to your lines when you rotate. So that's just my biggest advice with carving, is stopping short of your lines. So I'm going to start carving, and then as I'm getting close to this line right here, I don't want to overpass it, so I'm going to start slowing down right here, wiggling it a little bit, and cutting it off. And then later I can go from this direction to get the rest of that, if that makes sense. Okay, so continue carving out your piece. Change out your blades when you need to use one for the smaller areas. I think the V shape is a good one to use for most of your square. If you have a lot of white space, use one of these larger U shapes. And that is about it. Let me know if you have any questions.